Guys, I'm sorry. But this is that old Ithca that I've done a couple of times. And a friend of mine came over someday and said he wanted to try something. So I kind of gave him carte blanche. And this is what he came up with. Now, it's alright. But, you know, it's not an Ithca the way that I think it should be. So, I'm taking it apart, disassembling it, and going to strip down the wood, get back that deep brown, reddish color that the Ithcas come with, and then Cerakote the rest of it. But I got to go through the procedure. So the stock is already off, which you're familiar with, I'm sure. You have your two screws that hold on the. After that, I said, you know what? I don't feel like taking this apart again. The butt here, which is even though it's really not that hard, it was just laziness on my part. However, in my case, I think I'd said it before. My shoulders are shot after 40 years of this crap, so I'd probably need another 6 or 7 of these things. But that unscrews. Now mine, my stock comes out with a 11mm bolt, and I was told that some of them have Phillips heads. So you'd have to look in there. The main thing is, naturally, don't lose any of your washers. And, well, it's not a big deal. And that takes the stock right off the gun. Seeing it today, it's been a bad couple days. It's raining out. Yeah, and she just comes right off after that. We're talking about another day or two. Simple procedure. Today's a good day to strip it down. Then, strip this down to its in order to get the and do it again and do it right. The foregrip off, you have to carefully undo the so threaded, taking the wood off, or the furniture nut, that's what you want to call it, on the front of the barrel, it up on the front of it, and that comes right off. I've shown how to take this thing apart a few times before to slide together. And in my other videos, I showed you how to take the barrel off, so that's not a big deal. Fortunately, though, I don't have to take the whole thing apart this time. And if you look right there, in order to finish it off, let me find it here. Right there. I can just put some tape over the trigger force. I do have to take off the slide. I may not be able to do it right here, but there it goes. So there's that little pin right there, and I've showed it before in other videos, and all you got to do is push it over. This forearm rod, screwdriver, she locks in. Oops, I'm sorry. And as you're holding it, now in order to get it out, you just slide it over and pull out. Come on, get in there. You slide. Your forearm comes right off. You can see what I'm doing in the front. That's the only thing holding right off. That on. Whoops. That's the only thing. You put it on the same way. That little piece right there. Make sure the action is forward. Holding, and you would slide the slide back in, pushing that over. This on, she catches, slides over the magazine tube, locks in. So that's basically it. Disassembled enough to where I can do what I have to do to it. Now, in this case, because I'm taking the furniture off it, this would be if you wanted to take the whole thing apart there, it's not that hard. You don't have to take this off the gun to do this. However, you do have to take the barrel off set screw, which prevents this screw from loosening up. But anyway, you unscrew this. You can see right there that little indent where there's a recommendable area cut out on this. And this just comes off. And that larger screw, which you have. A smaller screw sets into that and locks. So the hardwood here, the furniture, I'm going to take those out. Now that actually holds and get it back to normal. No, I can't rack it right now. Get the took it out. But that set of forks. There's a set of forks in there that kind of the gun itself back to close to the normal color. There, those that it was. Two screws and the barrel hold that in place. So the barrel is relatively simple. The only thing is I won't be able to show you now how to put it in because this has to be back and that slides out. So everything the slide has to be in a rear position in order to put the barrel on or take it off. Because there's a little notch here, hopefully you can see it. inside here. Now I don't know if you can see it or not. But show without the light. That little notch right There's a little tension pin there. So when you go to slide this back in, sometimes that prevents the barrel from going on, and that's connected to the action. So when the action's forward or rearward, the barrel will fit right in sideways. It goes in sideways. Sticks out a little bit that you have to, and then this turns kind of push in to once it's in place. But it's all, I mean, it's right there. You have to. So it's all relatively easy. I mean, you just got to kind of pay attention. There's not much to the action. There's a couple of moving parts. To take this apart, now I don't have to take it apart today to finish it off, so I'm not going to. But the more you take it apart, the more chances are you're going to strip a screw or lose a screw. So I just soon don't worry about that right now. But these two screws come out. Actually, there's a small set screw there. That's a lock screw. That locks this screw in place. There's little cutouts in that screw head that allow this screw to fit in to lock it in place, and it's that way on both sides. But anyway, you take out those two little screws, the smallest one first, then the larger one on both sides. Then you take this off, and this whole trigger assembly will come out. These screws up on the top take care of that little fork that you see in there, the ejection fork. That's the fork that throws it out and gets everything in and out of the way and puts things in place. Well, that's what that and the other side, those screws do. They hold that. This screw holds the trigger assembly. You take that and it'll slide right out the back. And if you loosen those up, those will just slide right out the back. Now when you do slide those out, there's a couple of little things you got to look out for down inside here. There's a little bar right there. Now I don't know if you see that bar. It's got a little tail on it. It kind of like scoops in a little bit, and then it goes down behind the trigger assembly. I don't know if you can see that right there, that little black bar. There's nothing holding that in. If it's it, that's part of the pin there, right there. So when you take this apart, that may fall out, and if it doesn't fall out, it may be a good idea just to take it out, because it will fall out eventually, and you're going to lose it. But you got to remember to put it back in before you put this on. Alright, I forgot it myself. And when you put it back on, it just snaps in place, and that little curvature curves in towards the front. Hey, Ashbeth! Alright. Tucker! Shut up. Ashbeth! And that just curves in towards the front. Now also, right here, if you can see it, I'm trying to stay out of the light, right in this little notch here, you'll see a little tension spring that goes down behind the trigger as well. And that may get in your way when you slide the trigger in, so you may have to just jiggle and manipulate the trigger assembly a little bit to get by that. It's not a big deal. It's just that, if you just start slamming this in, you're going to have problems, so just pay attention to that. And there's another piece down in there, excuse me, that's similar to that. It's a little piece that's sticking out enough to where it's going to prevent you from putting in the action part. So you're going to have to kind of just tweak that out of the way a little bit with a screwdriver or a pick or a pointer or something. But again, you'll know what I'm talking about when you go to slide it in, and you pay attention when you slide it in, and you'll see what I'm talking about at that point. Alright, the other videos that I've done actually show more detail on it. But like I said, I don't want to take it apart completely. It's a lousy afternoon. It's been a lousy few days. So I figure it's a good time to try to get this back to normal and stop screwing around, experimenting. Sometimes, you get bored throughout the winter and the different days. So you decide, let me try this, let me try that. And so that's what I tried, and that's where we're at. Yeah. So I'm going to strip this down today, get those back to where they belong, both that and the foregrip. I'm going to strip this down. Well, I'll throw it in the sandblast it down. I may just try sanding it first, but we'll see what happens. And then I'm not going to take the action apart and the trigger guard off. I can just tape that up for now because that's really not going to affect anything that I'm doing. So just by putting some tape around there and stuffing some cotton or some shit down inside there, and I'll be all set. I don't have to worry about it. And then when we're all done, well, I'll put it back up and you can see how it looks. Alright guys, catch you later.